We're going to open session. It's 6:40. We're going to start with item E. Already did that. Item F, announcement of actions taken in closed session. None at this time. Moving on to G, comments from the public. We only have one. Hortensia Benner.
Thank you. Good evening, board members, staff, parents, and students. My name is Hortensia Benner, and I'm CSEA's Regional Representative 98. I want you to know that this chapter, Calexico 399, is not alone. We are here with the support of 240,000 other members. And so we meet again. And I know you were expecting us. The board, again, after 19 sessions of negotiations, has failed to agree to a contract with CSEA 399. Your administrators and the attorney at the table are the most disrespectful negotiation team that they have encountered. Why? Let's just go with Monday. They break for lunch, and they settle for a time. They're gone 2 or 3 hours without giving them notice that they're not going to be back for a while. They're sitting there like ducks in water waiting for your administrators and your attorney to negotiate. No, the labor rep has to email you guys. Where is the team? Very unprofessional. How dare you condone this behavior and treat them like second-class citizens because they're not. These members are improving the lives of our members, students, and community daily. Many employees grew up in this community, went to school here, still live in this community, and pay taxes here. We are tired of the game playing, and it needs to stop. If not, our next step isn't coming to reason with you here. It will be a time to take a different approach. These members know that negotiations are about improving and modifying their contract, not giving back to the district what you guys agreed on over 20 years ago. It ain't gonna happen. So they well understand, and they're gonna stand their ground so that you guys can leave their Me Too clause alone, because you're not getting it back. So I strongly encourage for you to encourage your negotiation team to put closure to this negotiations. This is insane. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to H, presentations, H1. Cesar Chavez artwork presented by Nathaniel Solis.
Don't stand behind me. Right here. Right here. Right here is good. A little more. This is good. All right. Board of Directors, Superintendent, I'd like to introduce to you to a very, very unique and very talented young man. His name is Nathaniel Solis. Nathaniel, son of Magdalena and Antonio Solis, who are teachers here at our district. And, well, he's got this gift, and this gift that he wants to present to you, to the district. One of the things that I want to share with you was that when I first got to Cesar Chavez, there was a lot of little kids that, oh, Mr. Santos, I drew something for you. I drew something for you. And so I would get something like this. Okay, now the guy, that's supposed to be me, so yeah, I'm losing a little hair, so that's appropriate. So I would get something like this. So when Nathaniel told me in 3rd grade, Mr. Santos, can I draw New York City for you? I thought, well, yeah, go ahead. I expected something like this. Well, we got something a little different. So I'd like to show you something this is the original artwork from Nathaniel. This is the original artwork. This is where this painting is coming from, okay? And I'd like to show it to you, if you could go ahead and show them the, okay. That's it right there. That's all done with pencil. So, Nathaniel, would you like to say a few words? No? So, on behalf of the Solis family, on behalf of Nathaniel, he would like to present you with print number 1 of Cesar Chavez Elementary. What do you want to call it? Artwork? Poster? Artwork. Artwork it is. All right, so go ahead. Open it up. Open it up. So to the board of directors, I would like to present it to the president and to Mr. Gonzalez. Or better yet, you go do it, buddy. And if possible, if the parents can go up as well, that would be nice. Thank you once again. Y feliz Día de las Madres a todas las señoras. Gracias. Thank you.
Congratulations. Awesome job.
Nathaniel, thank you once again for that fabulous artwork. And that's going to be hung up here in our conference room also as well, so that way everybody could come in and see it. Thank you once again.
We can put it right now. We can put it right now.
You want to go ahead? You want to go ahead and hang it up?
Come over
Nathaniel?
here. Come over here. Where's the painting?
You want to take a picture? Can we get a picture of this also as well?
No lo vayas a tirar, Ahí va. Okay. Ponlo ahí. Yeah, right here. Make sure it clicks. Both. Right now. Is it? Hold on.
What do you say, your other? One more.
You guys want to stand in for a picture?
Sir.
Thank you once again, Nathaniel. We're going to be moving on to H2, Z Global Renewable Energy Program presentation.
Good afternoon, Board and President. Thank you for the opportunity to come in and speak with you tonight. My name is Jesse Montaño. I'm a Vice President of Z Global and a local electrical engineering firm here in the Imperial Valley. And what I'd like to discuss or discuss with you is the recent development in the solar industry. Can I go to the next slide? Over 55,000 schools in the United States have now gone solar. Previously, solar was many of the schools went solar to go green, to lower their carbon footprint. But now the renewable prices have really dropped, specifically in the solar industry. Before panels were being sold about $3 a watt. Now they're under $1 a watt. And so a lot of schools are now going solar, not just because of the renewable benefits, but just because of the economic benefits, the price benefits. Solar capacity has nearly doubled over the last 3 years in schools, just in schools. And the Calexico Unified School District is in a great position to take advantage of these lower cost solar projects. One of the reasons that I say that is because the Imperial Valley in all of the United States has one of the largest, greatest irradiance patterns in the whole United States. So where many times just 20% or 18% of your energy needs could be met by solar, now it's over 30%. Next slide, please. These are examples of schools here in California that have gone green. And I know it's a little small, but like Oak Park Unified School District, they installed a 1.3 megawatt solar installation. And right now, that over the 25-year period of the solar project, they're able to save about $17 million just in their energy costs. Los Altos School District is saving approximately $175,000 a year on the cost of energy by going green. Next slide, please. Now, the energy cost savings, the savings that you would experience is by reducing your consumption of energy from the local utility and self-generating that energy with lower cost energy that is produced by solar. Right now, if you would say we don't want to put any money down and just go green, completely go green, the cost savings could reach 10-15% on your yearly budget on your energy cost. Right now, what we're seeing is right now the price for energy is about 12 to 13 cents per kilowatt hour. Where in the solar you can purchase that energy for much less than the 12 or 13 cents you're paying the local utility. Not only that, it minimizes the environmental impact. It reduces your carbon footprint. And it is a great opportunity to begin to incorporate these renewable technologies into the school curriculum. But one of the things that I really want to stress is that those savings can be reached immediately. You can go install a solar facility, start using, and immediately you would start saving on your energy bill, where you can get those monies and allocate it to other programs or other things that the board sees fit. What we encourage you is because this is something, we're from the Valley. We're encouraging the schools to look into this. We're asking the school districts to investigate and to look into this, and we encourage the school district to move forward with an RFP for competitive solicitations. This way, you can evaluate what is the best fit and the best structure. The process by doing this will determine the best structure for the schools that extract the greatest economic benefit, the greatest educational benefits, and also while minimizing risk to the school district itself. What I say, many schools in the United States are going to this, and we would like to see more schools in the Imperial Valley, where if you look at all of the solar plants that are being built around us and around Calexico, all of that energy is really going to San Diego. And so what we encourage you is to look into this, issue an RFP, go into competitive solicitation, because these can bring immediate savings to the districts and to the schools, and allows you to use money in other programs. That's all I have. I thank you for your time. I really appreciate your time. Is there any questions?
Any questions from any board members?
But you do say 10 to 15%, but how much would it cost us to build these facilities?
No, there are multiple structures where currently some of the local like Imperial Valley College and some of these other entities, they did not pay one dime, not one dime. all they did is, the way that they structured the RFP is that they wanted someone to come in, build the system and sell them the energy for the next 20 years. By doing that, it brought they were now able to plan out or budget their next 5 years ahead because they knew what their energy costs were going to be. They had certainty in the energy price. The local utility, the IID, you're not, the energy price is not, the cost of energy is not, it doesn't stay the same. The base rate stays the same, but the energy cost adjustment continues to rise. So that's why we will pay more. Our base rate will stay the same, but our energy cost adjustment continues to escalate. So the one thing that I really want to stress is there's structures out there where the school district does not pay 1 cent. Doesn't take the risk. It doesn't take anything of that. And that's why it will allow you to move those monies into other programs.
One quick question, is there any other structures here in the valley that you guys have helped out?
Yes, we've worked on both IVC. We've worked in U.S. Gypsum and multiple other programs, not just all over California programs, large commercial off-takers. And there's many structures where they say, I rather, you build it and we own it. That's fine. Others are saying, we don't have the money, but we want, and so we don't want to build it and own it, but we want our energy, we want our cost of energy to drop. And so we structure it that way.
Other than IVC, what other, do you have any schools, unified school districts that have you worked with?
Up in Northern California, yes.
Where?
In, Ramon, do you remember? It's near Folsom. Yeah, near Folsom, California. I'll get you the exact name.
And those structures are on top of the buildings, are they in parking lot structures? How is
Yes,
that?
well, IVC is not. IVC is an area next to the college. It's a little farm. They had an agricultural area. They took that, they built a project there, and it offsets a large majority of their energy cost. And so the price that they pay for that energy is, much less than what they pay the utility. So their savings, they realized immediate savings.
Well, thank you. Is there any other-
How fast can you build something?
Usually, the longest process it goes is through the permitting process, but the IVC project, which is 3 megawatts, was built in 45 days.
Now, what's the life expectancy of the equipment?
The life expectancy is 20 years.
20 years?
And you can enter into a contract where after the 20 years, they either come and remove it or you can extend it.
A contract with you or with IID?
With your builder. Like I said, right now what we're proposing is, yes, the builder.
Oh, not IID?
No.
Oh.
Now, will the efficiency of the equipment be reduced on a yearly basis?
There is a small degradation, which is about half a percent, that there's a degradation, but it's all the way that, and if you would, like there is ways of structuring this contract where you have parameters that have to be met. If they're not met, the developer is actually paying, will have to reimburse the school district if it doesn't meet those parameters. But that is all. What I really would like to stress is really you as a board, if you go out for an RFP and you select, there's many engineering firms and local companies that can come in and bring benefits to the schools by building this for you. So we encourage you to go out to an RFP for a competitive solicitation.
Well, once again, thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Moving on to H3, Circle of Friends.
Good evening. My name is Cami Sturdivant, and I'm a school psychologist in the district. And I just wanted to give you all a quick update on what's been going on with the Circle of Friends program. You can go ahead. I'm going to have some pictures. I don't know if can this band of lights be turned off? so that you guys can look at the kids instead of looking at me. The pictures will be rolling as I'm talking, but Circle of Friends is a program, an inclusion program, where we pair students from the general education population with students with special needs. And the kids commit to having lunch together at least once a week, hanging out during the week. And some of them have exchanged phone numbers. Some parents of kids with special needs have actually gone out and bought their child a phone for the first time because someone actually is communicating with them, texting with them. Sometimes parents are amazed because their child never really walked around the fair by themselves with a friend. They always went with, a parent or a grandparent, but now they're doing things outside of the school and socializing with peers of their own age. We started this program last year at Calexico High School, the 9th grade campus, Enrique Camarena, Jefferson, and Maines. And this year it has expanded to Dual, Rockwood, and William Moreno, and we're hoping to start programs next year at Kennedy Gardens, Blanche Charles, and maybe even open up another program at Maines for the younger students. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce to you Carlos Garcia, because I think it's better for you guys to hear from the students. So I'm gonna have him introduce himself and just talk a little bit about his experience with Circle of Friends.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Carlos Garcia. I'm the president from CHS right now for this program. And basically what this is about is that we're a program that we get together with these kids on Tuesdays. And if I was asked if you would do anything other than hanging out with them, there wouldn't be. Because spending time with these kids, it's ineffable. Whereas there's nothing that can describe what they make you feel, and it's just amazing. Basically, what we do is we go to events, and throughout time we've been doing activities like Easter egg hunting with them. We've been going to the fair, the rodeo, and the Christmas party. Whereas we got a dinner with them, and we started dancing, and these kids they love dancing. I don't know, but I couldn't stop dancing either. And every single time that I'm with them, it changes me, because they can change your emotion just by talking to them. And once they say, "Oh, hey, that's my buddy," man, honestly I feel so great. And they're like, "You're my best friend." I'm like, "I'm your best friend." So yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to extend a thank you to you, the board, for supporting this program. Also, the county superintendents for continuing to support it throughout the valley. The administration at every school that supports it and pays for training and subs and things like that. So thank you. To Mr. Price, our director of special education, has allocated a few dollars for it, so I appreciate that. And also, we received a huge donation from Centinela Prison, and I just wanted to publicly thank and acknowledge all those people who, and especially the kids, who make it possible. So thank you. I don't know if you have any questions or comments, but I just wanted to give you guys an update.
Board members?
Yeah, I'll do it quickly. So certainly, I think to be commended, students, it does make a huge difference. I think Calexico's been real progressive with this program, since you got the high school, 9th grade, and elementary. So a lot of other districts aren't there yet. They started with the high school, some middle schools. I know I started about 4 years ago at my other school. So I know what it is to be there with the kids. So it's a really good program. So thank you for all you do.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you once again. Moving on to H4, seal of biliteracy.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Silvia Yanez. I'm the English Language Learner Coordinator, and today's presentation is on the seal of biliteracy. So what is the Seal of Biliteracy? The Seal of Biliteracy, it's an award and recognition given to our students who attain a proficiency in another language than English. In this case, our district has adopted the Seal of Biliteracy in Spanish. Let me tell you a little bit about the Seal of Biliteracy. Our Department of Education adopted it California back in 2012 and 2013. So we, Calexico Unified School District, adopted this Seal of Biliteracy during the 2013-2014 school year. The first class who attained this award was the class of 2014. So who qualifies for the Seal of Biliteracy? Well, let me start from, I guess, the end. It would be seniors who meet the criteria. However, in order for them to meet the criteria, it's like backward mapping. They need to make sure that during their 11th grade, during the junior year, they need to pass the CASP with standard met or standard exceeded. Also, they need to have during their senior year, in this case, an overall GPA of 3.0. Keep in mind that our graduation GPA overall is 2.0, so this is even above our requirement. To successfully complete their English language arts, of course, their class with a B or better. And all of this, like I said, has to be done during their high school years, but more specifically during their junior year, because that's the only year that they would be taking the CASP test. Oops, I went too far. Okay. Also, students must demonstrate their proficiency in another language. In this case, we adopted the Seal of Biliteracy in Spanish, so they must demonstrate their proficiency in Spanish, again, during their junior year by taking the AP Spanish Language and Culture. And they need to score a 3 and above. They could also meet this requirement by taking 4 years of successful Spanish classes with an average of 3.0, or pass the Spanish language SAT test. But once again, this must be taken during their junior year. Why do I emphasize the junior year? Because let's keep in mind that they're taking let's say that I'm a junior right now. I would be taking the exam right now in May, and the scores will be here in August or September. So we need to make sure that by their senior year, they're meeting all of the criteria. Also, as part of the Seal of Biliteracy, we need to identify what would we do for English language learners. In this case, we still have the CELT as part of their requirements. So they will need to meet the same criteria plus the CELT with the proficiency or advanced level. How do we identify the students with the Seal of Biliteracy? Let me tell you that this is the work that I do together with Calexico High School, and more specifically with our counseling department. What we do, since the AP test, for instance, is results are obtained through the college board, the administration, Ms. Azueta, and the counselors and I get together and we try to get that information from the college board. And then we identify which students, which will be the seniors who have passed the AP Spanish Language and Culture test with a 3 and above, and then we start, the counselors help me to start looking at the transcripts, their GPA, and if they meet the rest of the criteria. Then what we do, we meet around October, November to let them know that they are potentially could be awarded for the Seal of Biliteracy during their senior year, and we go over the criteria to remind them again to keep their GPA, their English language arts grade level, a grade, and all of that. Then what we do, we wait for the first semester just to make sure that they don't go below 3-point GPA. Once we have the scores, the grades, and we take a look at it again at their GPA, then we actually meet again with the students and let them know, now you officially meet all of the criteria to be recognized and awarded with the Seal of Biliteracy. If you're interested, please fill out the form. There is a form that they fill out, they signed, and once again, we go over all of their criteria, all of us together, and then we meet around I believe we did it in March or April. We met with them, and actually we gave them a letter to let them know that they will be recognized. In this case, this year, the ceremony for the Seal of Biliteracy is scheduled on June 6th at the Sada Gym at 6 p.m. We let them know that it's a formal celebration. Parents are invited. We provide a formal celebration with a dinner as well. And the kids are not only awarded with a diploma, but we also give them a sash that they could wear during their graduation as well. And the Seal of Biliteracy, it will not only be a sash, but also it's part of their diploma. It's an actual golden seal that would be in their diploma, would be there, as well as their transcripts. Let me tell you a little bit about our success rate. In 2013, 2014, we started with 77 students. Now we have this year up to 134 students. So our numbers keep increasing. Luckily, our Spanish department is helping me and the counseling department to promote this award with our students' population at Calexico High School. I also would like to mention that we, in the county, there's only 4 districts who have adopted the Seal of Biliteracy. We're one of them, and I believe we have the highest number. And I'm sure that rest of the districts will be looking into adopting the Seal of Biliteracy, because the Seal of Biliteracy is not part of our college and career indicator as well. So it's one more point that we would have there. The more kids we have, it's a few more points that we would get there in our college and career indicator. Questions?
Board members, any questions?
Again, I thank you for the presentation. I think it's important that we know what it is, because we don't often hear these kinds of things happening in the high schools. Calexico is unique, and I think with the population of students, their strengths and how we can recognize them. Many times we're asked, what's Calexico doing? You don't have an IB program, but we do have programs like this with the SEAL. And again, we know we have a strong program in Calexico High School that's been recognized, and I think our students reflect what's happening with these, meeting these standards and requirements. So I think important for our district, our students, and for us to know.
Thank you.
So thank you.
And thank you for your hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to H5, Enterprise Fleet presentation.
Hello, Board. My name is Greg Murphy. I'm with Enterprise Fleet Management, and I've been with our company for just over 22 years. And we kind of got into the government space about 10 years ago, and just over the last few years, it's become our fastest growing segment in working with government and municipalities. So I'm very excited to be here today. And I was actually referred to your district about 6 months ago from the Imperial County Office of Education and the City of Calexico are both clients of mine. So about 6 months ago, I came out, I met with Mai and Jeremy, and just had a chance to learn a lot about your fleet operation. And really the first step for us is just kind of doing an audit. We look at the safety of your fleet, we look at the costs that are associated with managing the fleet, and then lastly, we kind of look at the climate action plan. So I came back out a couple more times and met with them and put together some recommendations, and we finally gotten to the point where I get to come out and talk to you folks, so I appreciate the opportunity. I know you've had this thing in your hands now, I believe, for a week, so I don't plan on going through it line by line just for the sake of respecting your time. But I thought I'd hit the key points, and if anybody has questions, please feel free to ask away. So those top key points, just the fleet summary, we're looking at the 21 units that were in the district. And the summary that we found is it's just old. It's very dated, the fleet in general. So that's really our first spot that we look is it safe? So the average annual mileage on your fleet is 3,300 miles per year. So then the next green bullet point, if you scroll just a little bit, so the recommendation that we're making, and this is what we do for the City of Calexico as well as the County Office of Education, is they've adopted what's called an open-ended lease. And it works really well with municipalities because it enables you to, refresh the fleet without having to kill your capital budget. So there's a lot of flexibility in it. It's a truly pay for what you use type of lease. And maybe to illustrate, if you're thinking about a $20,000 vehicle, we'll do a lease for probably 5 years in your case. After 5 years, there's maybe about a $4,000 balance. We would expect those vehicles to sell for, let's say, $14,000. So all of that equity goes back to the district. So that's the beauty and the flexibility of this type of lease. You still have all rights of ownership, so it's just the same as owning your fleet today. Maybe the next green bullet point. Maintenance, obviously your maintenance is extremely high because these vehicles are aged. We're also proposing a full maintenance program, which is what we do for the County Office of Education as well as a lot of other school districts, where we just flatline your maintenance for a monthly fee. Obviously very attractive for municipalities that have to be tied to a budget. And the cost, because your miles are so low, was $24.16 per unit. You utilize a local network of shops. There's currently 5 shops within a 5-mile radius of this location that are part of that network. And if we needed to add more, we could do that. And then safety. This is really the main thing that we noticed when I first came out, is that this fleet is obviously very old. We typically map out a fleet over these milestones that have occurred over the years in terms of safety and technology and vehicles over the years. Everybody knows that the seatbelt was kind of a game changer when the manufacturers, the government stepped in and said, hey, manufacturers, you have to put seatbelts in all cars. There's been a couple other key milestones that have also been big-time lifesavers, and so I've put them on there. The airbag is obviously a big one. Anti-lock brakes is also a big one, and believe it or not, ESC is the #1 lifesaver since the seatbelt. And when we looked at your fleet, all 21 were predating the anti-lock brakes and the ESC, so clearly some exposure exists within that area. The next green point. So I'm going to go through an economic analysis here in a minute, but if we're lucky enough to partner up with your district, you also get an account team, so it would be me and one other person who works with me and our other clients out here in Imperial County, and we're just constantly giving ongoing analysis and support. Your vehicles immediately get uploaded to a website. There's some pretty neat features with the mobile app where drivers can receive oil change reminders and things like that. And so there would be training and support for Jeremy to be able to roll this out to your district. Let's scroll a little bit more now. Keep going. I think it's time to we'll get to the numbers. So there's really not a lot to talk about here. This is just a summary of what your fleet looks like. I know I can't see that. I don't know if you can. Hopefully you can see it on your computers. But it's just, again, it's a summary of your fleet. It shows the year, make, the model, and it shows what we're recommending, that a replacement of all 21 units in the first year. And so really, if you scroll to the next graph, that's really the meat and potatoes. Yeah. So I'm going to pull mine out just so I can see it and walk you through it. So really, the way that we look at this is if you look at that orange line, is there a way to blow that up on the screen by chance? Okay.
Maybe turn off the lights.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so what this is showing, if you're looking at that orange line, it's showing, we're trying to determine what your annual budget is today. So if you're on a 21-year cycle today, you would get 1 unit a year at the cost of $25,000. So you can see that $25,000 purchase. If you scroll to the right, your current maintenance budget is $88,200, and then your fuel budget is $25,988. So your total fleet budget today stands at $139,188. By implementing our program, you can see that you can actually refresh the entire fleet. You would have lease payments, so your capital budget would go up, but your operating budget is coming down. And that's really what we try and educate our clients is to, with vehicles in particular, we always know that you're going to have a capital and operating budget, but you have to look at both because they obviously control each other with vehicles. So in that first year, you can see you lease 21 vehicles for the cost of $118,058. Our guaranteed maintenance will only be $6,000. And then your fuel efficiency is obviously going to be much better in these new vehicles, so your fuel bill is going to drop. It's not substantial just because your mileage patterns are fairly low. So your total fleet budget, nothing earth-shattering here. We're saving you a whopping $2,000 a year, so it's fairly cost neutral. But the beauty is after those 5 years, there's typically a large pool of equity, and that's really the value that Enterprise brings to the table is our resale advantage. So when these vehicles come to term, by utilizing a strategy where we're ordering early in the model year, So this is actually perfect timing. This is when we usually start partnering with our municipalities because you can order 2019 vehicles here in the next few weeks. Those vehicles will land in the fall. And so you have 2019 vehicles, even though it's the 2018 model or calendar year. So you fast forward 5 years from now, and these vehicles come back in 2023, but you have 2019 vehicles. So even though you've had these vehicles for 5 years, when we go to resell these, the resellers are thinking they're only 4 years old, which they are, because they're 4 model years old. So we're maximizing the resale value, trying to minimize that depreciation, and that's really how we bring savings for our clients. So the total budget in those first 5 years is pretty much the same. Like I said, it's cost neutral. Once all that equity comes back, you roll that into the replacement units, and then you can see that we're able to provide a sustainable savings of about $45,000 per year. So I'll stop there and see if anybody has any questions.
So you're saying the annual cost is $118,000, right?
Correct.
So a 5-year plan is $590,000.
Correct.
And, okay, you sell the vehicles and you start all over again.
Correct.
I'm 100% against leases. You're passing the debt to the future. We own our vehicles they last us 21 years or more. We purchased $20,000 for a vehicle. Okay, it's paid off in 5 years, but they last us 20 years. And to continuously be putting money into this is, to me, it's a waste. That's my personal feeling. And then what I would like to do is start with, give us a listing of all the vehicles and the priorities, and let's start replacing them, 3 at a time, 4 at a time, on an annual basis. If we have the money, let's spend it. But let's make those investments.
Yeah, if I could say something about that. Where municipalities have a pretty unique advantage, and this is where our expertise on the resale side brings a lot of value, is that as a municipality, you get incredible incentives, and the types of vehicles that you have are cargo vans and pickup trucks, which are very attractive vehicles in the resale market. So there's trades out here, like obviously air conditioning is important out here. You have electricians, you have farmers who love those types of vehicles. You're able to buy a vehicle like that for, let's say, 22 grand, where those contractors who are also our clients would pay $27,000 for that vehicle. So when you have low mileage patterns like you have, and you run that vehicle only for 5 years, the resale market for that vehicle, you have a $22,000 vehicle that will sell for 17 grand. So you're essentially spending $1,000 a year in depreciation, where you could continue to do what you're doing today and it would be about the same, but you would go buy a $22,000 vehicle, run it for 22 years, and then it's only worth $1,000. So it's still $1,000 a year to run the vehicle. And the argument is you have lower operating costs, you have a safer fleet, your footprint is better, and there's also a tax advantage. You only pay sales tax on the portion of the vehicle that you use. So in my scenario, when you get a vehicle for 22 grand and you sell it for 17, you're only going to pay 5 grand in sales tax.
Are you going to buy that vehicle back from us?
So Enterprise sold 1.1 million vehicles last year. We hand sell every one of them, so we sell those to wholesalers.
Everybody knows the worst investment are cars. Right away, you drive it off the lot, they depreciate.
Yes.
So for you to tell me that we buy it for $22,000, and in 5 years, the value would be $17,000?
That's because the rest of the world paid 27 grand for it. You have the luxury of being a municipality to get these giant incentives.
I think one thing, as I'm looking at this, to consider is we've got vehicles that are 15, 20, 21 years old.
Correct.
I think priority for me is also looking at the safety for those that are driving it, being our employees. And some of our vehicles still transport students? No? Okay. Well, vans, transit, regardless for our employees or whoever's driving, I'm looking at the safety issues. Our employees drive them, okay. Well, they're still our employees. So we need to make sure we're looking at the safety of the vehicles, the technology within the cars themselves. If we have cars that are 21 years old, what's it costing us to maintain it as well? There's pros and cons to look at and consider.
That's why let's get a list of the vehicles that need to be replaced and start replacing them on an annual basis. according to our budget.
We did that with the transportation vans and so forth for our kids, so,
At least?
yeah.
Oh, so are you doing lease?
No, we didn't lease them, we bought them. They're ours.
I did also put a case study from another school district, and I have references there as well. And we have I have plenty of school districts that we work with. I'm happy to provide other references where they can speak to how it worked before and then how it started working once we were able to partner and maybe quantify those savings. You know, there is some flexibility here too. There is the option to prepay your vehicles. But we've just found with a lot of districts, they find this lease attractive because it enables them to get back on track without having to shell out so much money out of the capital budget. So there certainly is an option to do that. And for us, it really doesn't matter. But we're still going to come out annually and provide recommendations to show you what your current resale value is compared to what the market looks like. Because again, we've done this for over 60 years, and it's just, Enterprise is in the business of finding the sweet spot, and that's what we're proposing to do for you as well.
Well, safety is a big concern for me also as well, but leasing, I'm against leasing. I'm one of those firm believers, but if there's not any other questions, thank you for your presentation.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you can still pay cash. You can prepay the entire lease up front, so that's still an option. Let me just say one more thing about leasing. I don't like leasing, and I work for a leasing company. This open-ended lease is completely different than what you're maybe familiar with, which is what's called a closed-ended lease that you would see through a dealer. Those types of leases have mileage restrictions. They have wear and tear charges. This is simply just another way to finance a vehicle. I can finance it to zero. I can leave it on a balance to provide cash flow. You can pay for the entire thing. For us, it doesn't matter. But the recommendation, just from a pure safety standpoint, is something needs to be done.
Mike, can we get a list of vehicles over Jeremy and start making a plan, a replacement plan?
That's something that we should
With
bring up for
purchases.
discussion.
We do, and we have one in place. We try to set aside about anywhere from $85,000 to $100,000 a year in our budget. And we bought vehicles a couple of years, but it's kind of been prioritized. We need buses, so that
Right.
kind of, through the staff vehicles, kind of low down the total pole. We then decided we needed carrier vans as we've added, junior high sports. We've added a lot more sports back to there.
Right.
So we just haven't had an opportunity to address the staff vehicles because the students have always taken priority
Right.
over that fleet budget. But sure, I can get you a list of.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Board. I appreciate it.
Moving on to I, consent agenda. All items appearing will be acted upon by one motion without discussion unless any item is pulled for separate consideration and action.
I motion to approve.
Second. I second that motion. Motion by Calderon Junior, second by myself, Alvarado. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those in favor? Romero, Calderon Junior, Castillo, and myself. Moving on to J, information items. J1, superintendent's report.
All right. Good evening, trustees. Well, first of all, happy Mexican Mother's Day. It gives me a great honor to be able to recognize the following employee. It's bittersweet. Happy for her because I know this is what she wants, but sad for us because she is an excellent employee in our district. And I am referring to Miss Mai Randall. She started working in our district October 11th of 2011, so I'm dating you back, Mai. And she's been in our district almost 7 years. And Mai, you always talk about the pin that you want for the 10 years, so you can't go anywhere because you don't have it yet. But, she started off as a business manager for 8 months here in the district, and then moved in as the assistant superintendent of business and has been doing that for the last 6 years. Mai has been instrumental in a lot of the accomplishments of the district. And I'm going to talk about just a few because there are many. You know, she came in at a time when there was a fiscal crisis, and we all remember that here in the district because we felt it. I was a site administrator at the time, and Maya was here at the district office, and you know, with her skill, she managed to make sure that the district was solvent and pulled us out really of almost being under receivership and being taken over by the state. You know, one of the other things that you always hear Maya when she gives her budget presentations is the audit findings, right? You know, when she came in, there were 44 audit findings. You know, now we only have 2 audit findings. And that's a testament to her amazing work and her knowledge and her skill. You know, the other thing that we have to also remember is we have a pool. That in 2010, there was this earthquake, if you all remember. Well, you know, our pool was shut down. And Mai has worked with several boards, superintendents, and her efforts have paid off. And what we now have is a state-of-the-art pool that's probably the best one in all the Imperial Valley. And that is thanks to Mai's, you know, hard work. The other one, just most recently, is Measure V. You know, Mai has been instrumental in working so hard to ensure that we have Measure V. And because of that, Mai, now our high school is going to start modernization. So thank you for that as well. I could go on in regards to all the accomplishments that Mai has done. These are just a few. But you know, Mai, it's been an incredible journey working with you. I love working with you, your joy, you know, your passion for your job, your guidance has been unbelievable to superintendents, to board members, to the community, to the associations. So I just want to let you know that on behalf of, you know, the board, the administration, all the employees, you have been a blessing to work with. We wish you the very best, and you will be greatly missed. Thank you. So Maya, if you can please come up. And if I can have the trustees please come up as well.
Okay, you guys really pulled a fast one on me today. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, I'll stand in a minute.
So before we take the picture, we have a token of appreciation presented by the Board of Education to Mai Randall in appreciation for your service and dedication to Calexico Unified School District staff and students. Presented on May 10th, 2018. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, it's time for cake. Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and take a quick 5-minute break for the cake. So we'll be back at 7:40. No, no problem. Gonna move on. That's back. We're gonna start with J2, Measure V update.
What?
J2, Measure V update.
Oh. Too much sugar.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and give an update on the Measure V committee. We had a meeting that took place on May 8th here at 5:30 p.m. in the boardroom. Some of the updates in regards to Measure V. There has been a modular programming meeting that took place on Thursday, April 26th at Calexico High School, main campus, with each department chair individually. Mr. Jeremy Nielsen, Mr. Jimmy Sanders, and Ms. Maya Randall. What they did is they discussed with the department chairs the detail, the classroom needs for each particular department. Next, there will be a meeting that will be set up with Ms. Williams, Jimmy Sanders, and Mr. Nielsen to discuss which department's teachers will occupy the first modular building. Also, in regards to the Citizens Oversight Committee, it's scheduled to meet on, well, we met on that one already. Sorry about that. Then the other update to the Measure V was the parking lot construction bid. It did go out. The notice to the contractors was advertised on the Imperial Valley Press from March 30th to April 6th. The deadline to submit the bid packages was on May 3rd. The bid results and the award of the bidding is on this board meeting for approval. The modular building bid has gone out as well. The notice to contractors was advertised on the Imperial Valley Press from March 30th to April the 6th. The deadline to submit bid packages for that is May 10th. The bid results, awarding of bid, will be included on the May 24th board meeting agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. J3, Association comments, ACT.
Good evening, members of the board. I would like to wish everybody a happy Dia de la Madre. Doing my best. I'm doing my best with that.
Say thank you.
So first I'd like to announce that there, as of May, well, upcoming May 15th, there will be a change in ACT leadership through May 15th of this year to May 15th of 2020. ACT's elective executive board consists of the following members. President is myself. Vice President for secondary grades is Darla Dreesen. Vice President for elementary is Silvano Lopez. Secretary will be Marty Guillen. Communications coordinator is Carmina Ramirez, and membership director is Hector Taran, and our treasurer is Diana Hardy. So we've had a change in vice presidents, basically. These educators will serve ACT proudly, so you may see some new faces here at the podium occasionally. Next, ACT would like to recognize our district and school board for the Day of the Teacher gifts our members received throughout the past week. Day of the Teacher is a date we look forward to every year. Many students send letters to the teachers that they have valued, and we cherish those messages, but we also definitely appreciate recognition from our administrators and our school board members. So on behalf of the members of ACT, thank you very much. I'd like to talk about the HVAC systems next. Following a positive negotiations meeting with the district concerning HVAC, several changes were made to the HVAC procedures in our district. These changes, for instance, a lower base temperature and manual temperature, earlier and later start and shut off times, and fewer soft resets, have been welcomed by teachers, and ACT has received fewer complaints regarding classroom climate. So we're happy to have worked with the district to come to a compromise that benefits our teachers and students. I'd like to now talk about teacher evaluations a little bit. So that was good news about the HVAC. Evaluations is not so good. So there's just a little concern here. This year, ACT has received numerous questions and concerns from teachers involving the timely evaluation of teachers. In some circumstances, administrators have waited until the final allowable day to observe teachers and have waited until the final allowable hour on that final day to give the teacher the evaluation. And ACT believes this practice devalues the process of observation and evaluation. For how can any critical observation have an effect on the teaching practices of an educator if there's no time between the observation and evaluation? In this case, if a teacher is in need of improvement based on the observation, how can an administrator provide opportunities to improve before the evaluation is given to them? Our contract makes the following clear in terms of the general solutions to negative evaluations. It says that assistance is recommended, that in the case of negative evaluations, the evaluator shall take steps to assist the unit member in correcting any noted deficiencies. The evaluator's role to assist the unit member may include but not be limited to the following: specific recommendations for improvement, direct assistance to implement such recommendations, provisions of additional resources to be utilized to assist with improvement, techniques to measure improvement, time scheduled to monitor progress. If evaluations are left to the last minute of the last day, how can any of this be possible? Our teachers take every mark and comment on their evaluation seriously. It affects their employment. If you get a negative mark on your evaluation, it affects whether you can teach summer school. These evaluations dictate employment opportunities for our teachers. They should not be last-minute actions by administrators. I know things get busy for everybody, but this is a very important thing. Next, I was going to talk to you about Imagine School, but I talked to an administrator here tonight, and I asked her, have you had discussions with the district yet about the influx of students that we will have based on Imagine School's non-renewal of their charter? And she said, yes. They've been talking to schools about it, so I don't feel like I need to talk about it very much.
Well, not to us.
Well, okay, then I'll talk about it. So Imagine lost their charter renewal with El Centro Elementary. It was denied. They appealed to the county. It was not approved by the county. They will probably appeal to the state, but they've been given the order to cease operations by the end of June. So their school is closing down. They will not be open at the beginning of the school year, which means they have about 800 students that are going to now come back to their home school districts, including our district. So we're looking at about 150 students coming back to Calexico. Now, 150 students taken across 8 grade levels is not, it's not this huge flood of students that we're talking about. We're talking, about 20 per grade level, spread across many different schools. So it's not going to be such a dramatic thing for us. And I can't wait to welcome those students back to Calexico. But Imagine will be appealing to the state, I'm sure. The state generally overrules decisions made at the county level, and they give charters back to about 70% of the charters that appeal to the state. So what I've heard, and this is, I'm alleging this, so it's not official because I haven't seen it personally, but I've heard that Imagine is basically telling their parents, register with your home district, but you're also going to register with us. And I don't know how that's legal, but Imagine does a lot of things that I don't know how is legal. But anyway, I just want to let you know to look out for that, and that we do need to prepare for, about 150 students that we didn't have this year that we will have next year. And we have to prepare also, possibly, for those students to come in for a few weeks and then leave, based on what their parents want to do. So, it's something to look at. I also want to mention that Imagine is also trying to get a charter for the high school district in El Centro. I don't know how that's going to go, but I would like to just say, if they don't get it there and they come looking here, just be aware, their company is not a company that teachers are looking on very fondly. At least not the teachers I know. Finally, I want to talk about grievance mediation. Tomorrow, ACT is meeting with the district to have a mediation meeting for the grievance we currently have regarding our vocational shops. And it is our hope, and I think it's the district's hope, that we settle this grievance. But if things don't get settled tomorrow, I just want to make it very clear that ACT would expect to have a board hearing as soon as possible regarding this grievance. And that is all for, and happy Day of the Teacher. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. CSCA?
Good evening. Sonia Redona, CSCA President. I want to know, I don't know if you board members know what a Me Too clause is. In our contract, Article 8 means term of agreement. Article 8-1 in the event that the terms with another bargaining unit provides a total economic package exceeding the total economic package in this agreement, CSCA will receive the adjustment difference accordingly. This language has been there more than 20 years. We're not going to give it up, and we will not give it up. I don't know how long it takes, but we will not give it up. On April 18, we met, we negotiated. The two parties, the district and CSCA, understood that we had a conceptual agreement that the board wouldn't have any problem agreeing to it, that we should come to a final and signing. So we said, great, we're going to finalize it. Finally, we thought about it. Well, May 7 comes. We have another negotiation, but this time we had a different lawyer. Okay? So they came in and they said, well, we want you to sign the contract. Well, we looked through the contract before we wanted to sign, and the district proposed today that the district unilaterally remove language from the contract without any reference, highlighted, citation, strike through, or verbal notice pointing the change to CSCA. We asked them, give us some, why do you want to remove this language? Clarify it to us. They couldn't. They were not able to tell us why they wanted this removed. And so we were supposed to meet until 12 o'clock noon. Well, guess what? They said, we stayed until 5 o'clock. We talked about the changes, but the district wanted us to sign. We said, we're not signing yet. We're not going to sign. Well, that's all that I have authority to do, the lawyer stated. So around 3:30 or 5:30, they came back with the contract with the last and final offer again. This is the second time. Why would you bring another lawyer in that doesn't know anything that's going in negotiation? To me, it was a waste of time for all of us. I had better things to do at work than sit there and wait. If this doesn't get resolved, CSCA will immediately file an unfair labor practice immediately. We deserve respect. We deserve equality. We want a contract. We were ready to sign. You put that language back in there, we'll sign the contract. But we also want to know why you want to remove that language. We might not be teachers, but we sure do hold up the fort at each school site. And I think we deserve. It's always been the language there. Give me a reason why you remove it. I think it's unfair. You're not treating the classified fair. Thank you.
Thank you. J for Insurance Committee.
We had our insurance committee meeting on May the 3rd. We always ask the associations if there's any issues or concerns with the benefits, and no issues or concerns were reported, which is always great news. Also, there has been no plan changes to the 2018 health plan, which is Anthem Blue Cross. There is an increase of 9.8%, which is equivalent to $1.4 million when it comes to our health and benefits. We will be having open enrollment from May 23rd to June the 4th, and any changes will become effective July 1st of 2018. Our open enrollment fair will be held on May 29th here in the boardroom. And then lastly, under Anthem Blue Cross, we have the Live Health Online, and one of the recommendations that we gave to the committee members is register for it now, as opposed to when you need it and you may be ill. It's very convenient, but once you're registered, you can easily log in and be able to see a health provider, doctor, and be able to get prescription if you need it. So it's very convenient, and so we're going to be pushing Live Health online as a great tool that really our employees should be accessing. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. ROP committee?
ROP committee, just quickly. So at the end of April was the IVROP annual showcase over at the fairgrounds. Again, nice event, large event, 300, 400 students and families. So a lot of students recognized, including students from Calexico. A number of our students were recognized for their work and their achievement through our CTE programs and their projects. So, congratulations to them. Tomorrow's their IVRP's Dancing with the Stars, their annual gala and fundraiser, which generates scholarships for students across Imperial County. To date, I think there's over 70 students who've applied for their scholarships this year. Scholarships about $1,000. On Monday, their committee will be reviewing them and hopefully awarding scholarships to students in Calexico. So look forward to that. And then again, I know at this time of year, looking at our courses, our CTE, and ensuring that they are A through G aligned or working towards that, so our students do get that component in their education. So I believe ROP's been working with the district, Calexico, and other districts to go through and help teachers prepare or align their courses to be the CTE courses to be A through G. So I know they're working that. That will benefit our students. I think in Calexico, our A through G courses are somewhat limited, but I know the school and the staff are working towards increasing those numbers for our kids. And that's good for their graduation and career in Calexico. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Safety committee?
Good evening. We will be holding our last safety committee meeting this coming Monday here at the district boardroom. We will be here from 1 to 3 p.m. And I'll be sending an invite later tonight.
Thank you. LCAP?
For our LCAP, I provided you with the latest updated LCAP updates. On the right side of the report, you'll see what are some of the activities that have taken place from the last time that we provided information. And so we continue to spend our monies. A lot of money that is still here that has not been spent, but we have already begun with the process is our summer school program, trying to recruit a lot of our students, trying to make our summer school a little bit more innovative and having rotation schedules, providing access for technology to all of our students. We still have some committees that are running. We have, for example, science committee is meeting tomorrow. We have report card committee that is still meeting. Safety committee is still meeting. So there's still several activities that are still pending. Most of the monies that have been spent have been for example, the incentive for students. I know that right now we're still pending the fees for the testing. We tested 9th, 10th, and 11th graders, all of them with the PSAT. And so we're just waiting for the invoice for that one. And then currently our students are taking their AP test, and so we also fund the AP test out of our LCAP. So several activities that are still pending, but we're continuing to move forward with the expenses. What's coming up? I forgot to mention that this Tuesday we had our community forum where we presented our goals, some of the changes in the wording, and then I highlighted in red what were some of the recommendations. And I always tell our community that the recommendations doesn't necessarily mean that everything's going to get on the LCAP. It depends on our funding, and we prioritize some of the items. Also, we have, on Monday, I'm going to submit a rough draft of what we have to the county, and we'll be reviewing it and providing some feedback. By June 14, we'll have a public hearing on our LCAP, a draft of our LCAP, where we could get some input from our stakeholders. And then by June 28th, we have to submit, the 28th, we're going to bring it to you for approval. And then by the 30th of June, we have to submit it to the county after the board has approved it. Questions?
Any questions, board members?
I have a quick question unrelated to this. How many schools are gonna offer summer school, and which are they?
So all students are invited, and this year, we alternate every year. So this year, all of our K through 5th are going to be, we're holding summer school at Cesar Chavez. For our students who reside in Cesar Chavez, we don't provide transportation. For everybody else, we provide transportation. And at every site, we have a noon duty aide that's waiting for the students, are waiting with students until the bus picks them up. And then when the students are sent back, the noon duty is there to receive them. The 6th through 8th are going to be housed at Enrique Camarena this year. Last year they were at Willie Moreno. And then Calexico High School, for right now, we have them scheduled to be at the 9th grade campus. Depending on our numbers, we might have to switch to Calexico High School, but for right now, the 9th grade campus is working to keep our upper kids. And then our migrant program and some of our spirit students are going to be housed at Jefferson. Last year we were at Mains. So every summer we switch, dual. Yes, we'll be at dual this year. We were at Mains last year, and the year before that we were at Jefferson. So we try and go to all sites.
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez. That's all I have.
Thank you. Moving on to J5, board reports. Mr. Romero.
Attended the Calexico Ed Foundation dinner. It was a great event, and a retired classified employee won the $5,000. And then attended the band award ceremony. It was wonderful. It was a lot of kids, a lot of happy kids. And I saw the unity there. When somebody would get an award, they would all clap. It was wonderful. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Calderon.
Real quick, happy Mother's Day, happy Mexican Mother's Day, and happy Mother's Day on Sunday. So don't discriminate, everybody. So I went to the WASC accreditation meetings last week, and I think the Calexico High School did pretty good. We heard the report. We were expecting some of those findings, but I think overall Calexico did a good job in writing the report and paying attention to what those people from WASC had to say. So I'm glad that everything went okay. I went to transportation, and I did see Dario gave me a tour of the building, gave me a tour of the outside parts of the warehouse. So some of those vehicles, we need to replace them. We need to replace them, and everything costs money. I understand that, but safety. So we need to do something about that. We need to do something about that. Not only safety for our students, but also safety for our employees. They need at least something what I see when they're driving those vehicles. Please include us, Carlos. Please send us an email of the events, for the end of the year events. I don't want to come to find out through my mom or through my brother that Cesar Chavez had an event and we were not invited. So please, I'm asking you to send us an invite to all of the events and let us decide if we can make it or not, okay? Other than that, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Calderon, Jr.
Thank you, President. Good evening, everyone. Happy Mother's Day for those that are Mexican, and happy Mother's Day for those that also celebrated on Sunday. I also attended the band banquet, and it was more like a quinceañera. I mean, there was kids were just happy. I mean, well organized, staged, and my hats off to all the parents and the organizers. Also, happy belated Teachers Day. It was yesterday. I know that you guys put a lot of hard work and dedication to our district, and let's continue to do the good work. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Castillo.
Along the same lines, Monday was National Teachers Day, Tuesday was California Teachers Day, and today's Mother's Day. Every day was something, so.
I don't know, it was Teachers Day.
Nurses, there's a bunch. We know there's something every week, every day. And in 2 weeks is Classified School Employees Week, so we got that coming up as well. Week. I said week. again, some of the things have been mentioned. I know, again, thank you to everyone who helped out with and supported the Calexico Educational Foundation event. Wonderful event, very exciting. Mr. Romero, I think that was probably one of the best ones in a long time. And congratulations to Sapo, right? Again, a number of us were at the WASC event. Again, a big thank you to everyone who put that together, who worked on it, you know, not just this month, but all year long, even prior to this year. It's multiple year project. Certainly our site administrators, our teachers and staff that also helped contribute and work in committees to put that together, our district office, parents and students. Students did a great job showcasing their school and proud of what they have accomplished there. So again, thank you. I know something I saw today was something new that we haven't seen is seeing that our swim team now is going to CIF. Members of the swim team are now participating in CIF. So as we mentioned earlier, a brand new pool, most recently, a swim team just like yesterday. Now we have students competing, you know, in our CIF. So that's a great accomplishment, and we hope to see more in the future. Finally, last Thursday, was it? The celebration of education over at Southwest High School. Wonderful event. Christine, you were there. Mr. Gonzalez was there. Ramirez was there. And a couple other folks. But again, wonderful event, showcasing very positive, energetic. Our cadets were featured. Actually, they almost kicked off the show in the beginning. As well as a number of mentions of our migrant program, robotics program, and other district activities. So very fun to see the district highlighted, showcased, along with other schools in the county at this event. So again, I know they'll have it next year, and hopefully we'll have Calexico representing again. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Feliz Dia de las Madres. I know you guys have been hearing it. Happy Mother's Day on Sunday. You guys are lucky. You guys get to celebrate twice. But without you guys, we wouldn't be here, right? So you guys, it's well deserved. It's very well deserved. I just want to go ahead and just congratulate once again Nathaniel Solis for the wonderful painting that he did, and also Circle of Friends for the wonderful job that they're doing out there in our district. Other than that, that's pretty much it. We'll continue with K, and once again, thank you everybody for attending tonight's meeting. So moving on to K, discussion, possible action. K1, Calexico High School Pool Summer Recreation Program Coordination and Funding.
Good evening, trustees. This item is here before the board as a follow-up to the meeting that the superintendent and I had with the city of Calexico and our agreement that we have. We have a joint use agreement and have had one for many years that the city will operate a summer recreation program. Well, for the past 2 years, the city has been in some financial trouble, and they haven't been able to operate the summer recreation program. So the district has had a concern over the last couple of years as to us taking on that responsibility and just trying to make sure that it's not considered a gift of public funds, as it is not a K-12 or, you know, pertain to just K-12 when it comes to some of the activities that were being provided or being asked to be provided. So we did reach out to legal because there was a concern, and legal did give us some advice and an opinion that it is it kind of borders in kind of the gray area. And so there's a way to do it, but it is again in the gray area. And legal is Marty, is who I'm talking about right here, and he's right here. But I would say, I'm gonna go over the numbers, how much the district has spent, and if it's something that the board would like to entertain, my recommendation would be to do it from a limited perspective. So the first year that we had the pool, and these are actual expenditures in 16-17, we spent just on the on lifeguards about $99,000.
99?
$99,000, and that was because we have to keep that that pool staffed with lifeguards as if it were at full capacity, because we never know how many folks will come to swim in the pool. Plus the time frame and the hours, it was open all of the time. I mean, it was open from 8 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. So it was very expensive to operate that program, and that was just for the lifeguards and the, for the pool. We had, pool maintenance, so we hired, a person to do pool maintenance. There was a custodian, and we also had, different supplies, and it was just very expensive to run this program. So that's where kind of some of the concern has come in. Well, last year we had to.
My quick question,
Uh-huh.
just real quick. So with, you mentioned lifeguards, maintenance staff. So along with, there are employees, so we are doing benefits and workers' comp
Correct.
is our liability as well.
That is correct. And the agreement had been between the district and the city that it's an 80-20. So that 20% of the year, which is technically the summer, the city would bear the cost of all of that, for the upkeep, the program, the custodian, the maintenance, all of that. The city would typically do that, but they just haven't been able to do that. But yes, we do have full-time staff employees that have health benefits and all other statutory benefits that maintain the pool. They are our employees, okay? So then last year, we had to cut the program short because we had the algae problem in the pool, so it wasn't able to function. But based on, again, the hours, the pool was open from sunup to sundown, so it was just open all day long. So just for the month of July and for the month of August, the expenditures were about $49,000. So very expensive. So in an effort to reasonably do something like this, and we did charge. We charged $1 for kids, and we had, and it was $2 for adults. I think what we received in revenue for the pool was about $10,000. So it in no way matched the expenditure or the expense to operate the pool. I did speak to the city, and I provided them with all this data. And because they were going to reach out to Assemblyman Garcia, Senator Wesso, they are actively trying to find some sort of funding or something to help the school district with a summer program. We also referred them to the Heffernan Board. We allowed them, I gave them a copy of the grant that we wrote for the Heffernan Board so that they can then tweak it to meet the city criteria, and then also submit for the Heffernan Board to increase, wellness, that type of thing. But again, speaking with Marty, there is something that we possibly can do, but I would just say that if the district is going to go that route, set a limit. I've kind of done the calculation based on the needs. If we had it maybe twice a week or something like that, not open all day, but maybe like an evening swim twice a week, just a community family evening swim or something like that. It would cost between all of those things, the supplies, the maintenance, the staff, the cleaning materials, all of that, about $1,200 for 4 hours of swimming, open to the community. So that's something that the city had asked me, just in case they're able to present something like that, where a community swim, and they would want the district to do all of the staffing and do all of that, but then be billed the $1,200 a night, or if they could only do it one night a week, community swim, if that's something that they would be trying to work towards in their budget. But again, it's a gray area. It's something that can be done as far as having some sort of a community swimming engagement type of a thing. But I would just recommend that if the board were to consider something like that, then you'd have to set some hard limits on that, and not kind of how we've gone way out and we've spent an exorbitant amount of money to operate a summer recreation program.
Well, I mean, with limited events going on here in Calexico, I think the pool's very important, for our kids. I mean, because where else are they going to go? But that's something that we have to discuss and see if we could actually absorb that.
Were we opening the pool all day long?
Yes, the pool was open, I think, from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., 6 days a week. Oh, sorry, excuse me, thank you, 6 a.m.
Well, can we, because I know the problem that we ran into was the constant usage, right? So can we do like a morning session and then like an afternoon session?
So right now, our summer school kids and our students in the summer school program that's ran by the district take priority for scheduling of the pool. So that's why, in speaking with the city, an option could be an evening type swim, because our aces and assets is using the pool, so we have a summer school that would, I think for PE or something like that, that will be utilizing the swimming pool.
No, well, I was thinking after summer school is done.
Oh, well, I think it just needs to be limited, certainly not open, for
No,
18 hours a day.
no, what I was thinking was 3 hours open in the morning and then 3 hours in the afternoon and let the chemicals do whatever they need to do, right?
That could be accommodated, but just, so it's about $1,200 a session, so
Yeah.
that would be $2,400 a day.
I would be considering an evening session. I mean, that would be,
Yeah.
Yeah, but first we gotta talk about
Yeah.
what's the city gonna be doing?
Right. So
mean-
at this moment, the city's not volunteering to do anything.
Okay, see, to me, that's wrong. We cannot be subsidizing the city. Here we are getting all these donations for the AER program and all the other activities. It'd be an insult to these people that are donating their funds to us for us to in turn subsidize the city. I mean, to me, that's not fair. That's a gift of public funds. They have Measure H revenue. I know they keep saying that they have no revenue, but Measure H revenues come in on a monthly basis. So what's the status of the Measure H revenues?
They didn't share what the status of the Measure H revenue was with us in the meeting. What they specifically asked was, can we just tell them, how much that was my recommendation, because they really didn't have any recommendations as to them being able to fund anything over the summer. So I said, well, what if you could do it like 2 nights a week? Do a family swim night, 2 nights a week. Would that be something that you would be interested in doing? So they said, can you just tell us how much it would cost, a night, and then we'd get back to you. But we did give them our grant application for Heffernan, and they said they were working with Assemblyman Garcia and with Senator Wesso to ask for some sort of funding for a summer swim program.
In El Centro, when they have, when the city uses the school's pool, the city provides employees.
Right.
It's the city's responsibility.
That is correct.
To me, in this case, it should be the city's responsibility too. Because you can incur workers' comp, you can incur unemployment when they get laid off.
Most important, liability.
The liability, if someone gets hurt.
Because you need MOUs with Red Cross, you need more than just hours here.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, you need a pool manager to start with, to start coordinating everything that we can do. And my question is just simple. Have we reached out to Mr. Klein in Calapet to see what he does? I mean, because he opens his pool, or El Centro, to see if we can mimic what they're doing over there. And because I agree that last year and the year before, we had it open too long, which cost us $50,000 or $48,000 to clear that black algae. So I understand that. I mean, because we got staff that we're already paying. I mean, we're paying benefits and so forth. I mean, how much is it between 2 of those staff that we're paying?
Yeah, it's about $150,000.
So that's where we're at. So I think I have to agree with Mr. Romero. We need to just let everybody know that the city doesn't have the money and we're gonna have to cut our hours.
And I do agree with both of you, 100%. However, we need to provide something for our kids.
So we're working on
That's the
that
only thing
too.
that there is here to do.
I don't want that, I don't want another, incident like it happened to one of our Aurora kids a couple years ago. I don't want my kids going to the canals and having to swim over there. I don't want to go to Mexicali to an unsafe place because we don't have the pool open. So with that said, we need to do whatever we can to get those funds to have the pool open.
I think we have somebody in the community who wants to speak also as well.
Can I have a comment?
Go ahead.
Sure.
I agree with all your comments. Historically, when the pool opened up, the city has always run the summer program every summer. And it's kind of like, I don't find that many school districts running the summer pool program. You check with all the cities all over the country. And typically, like a YMCA, a Boys and Girls Club, a nonprofit can run a community pool or a swimming pool for the summer and provide the lifeguard instructors and anything. Mr. Romero, I agree with all your comments about the city. I asked yesterday, I went to talk to the city manager, the finance director, and they have no idea in the Measure H. I asked about the audit, they're clueless about their finances right now. Because I specifically asked what you asked about the Measure H funds about 4 times, and they couldn't give me an answer.
That's incredible.
I know, but it's just.
What about the Heffernan board?
Well, I'm gonna give you the positive news. I've talked to several of them. They have $4.5 million in the bank, the Heffernan board. And each one of them has been willing to figure out what the cost is, and Ms. Randall's done a superb job in communicating with the city and giving the expenses, to the city, and the city, I mean, I don't know why they don't wanna commit anything, but the Heffernan, but I can't speak for them. I'm not a board member, but I've talked to each of them. I've lobbied them for the last month on this issue. And they have $4.5 million in the bank, and they're willing to do it. And I think Ms. Randall, I don't know how long you're going to be here, but. But she's an excellent communicator with the city. They all like her. And I just think Heffernan, Ms. Randall, one of you board members needs to sit down with Heffernan City in a room and work this out. About the funding, and this is a priority, and it's late in the game. Everyone's already recruiting lifeguards. You have lifeguards that want to work here in Calexico. They love this pool. And this pool's gonna be, and I already have another funders that want to contribute to the pool, but there needs to be a program, infrastructure first before you start soliciting money. But I echo your comments that I'm gonna do everything I can to raise the money. And yes, I was with the swimmers, echoing the swim team. You have over 50 members on the swim team, and several did make it to CIF playoff. And Friday they swim, I believe, or Saturday. And the swim club members love the pool. They want to swim all day long. And so many kids here want to swim. It's just incredible here. And I echo your comments, and I support Ms. Randall's bid with the city, and I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to send Mr. Gonzalez an email with my comments, and I'm gonna follow up on it and make sure the money from Heffernan gets to the pool. But I do think the city should run it from the liability point of view. I don't think the school district should get involved, because your overhead's gonna be higher than the city. Richard, you're the expert in El Centro. You should offer your input on this. You fund the pool.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay.
Well,
Okay, those are my comments, but I'm gonna send an email to Mr. Gonzalez, and on a personal basis, I'm gonna pledge $10,000 for the pool this summer.
Thank you.
And we're also gonna sponsor a water polo team too, as a new sport, about a year or 2 years. But I'm gonna work with Ms. Randall and your team, and one of the board members who's an expert on municipal finance. I'm looking at it.
Well, thank you.
Bobby.
Thank you for that, sir. And with that said, I think we should bring it back at our next board meeting to find out what's going on as far as.
Mr. President, so would you and Carlos meet with the Heffernan board and see what they can do for us, and then maybe Carlos can bring us a summary for our next board meeting?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good idea.
That
Excellent idea.
the summer is.
So it's 49K, right? 49K a month, pretty much?
Yeah, for the, yeah.
There's already a grant written.
We
Well,
read it,
Ms.
yes.
Montaño
Yeah.
took the time to write the grant, so the Heffernan board had pledged to give us like 30,000.
30,000.
But they withdrew
And
it, right?
I went to all of those meetings with the Heffernan board, and at the end, they decided that they were going to give those funds to the city of Calexico as a part of their wellness committee. So that's why I said, well, you know what, we're going to do the city a solid and give them the grant that we wrote, so they can then submit it to the Heffernan, because at the end of the day, the Heffernan had agreed to give it to the city of Calexico's wellness.
Well, thank you. What we'll do is,
Could they do it? Does it have to be the city of Calexico, or could the Heffernan
They
board?
could donate.
I
the money
think
to
they
the
could,
city.
they could put up the money.
Yeah.
You wanna donate another 10,000? Come to the podium.
What happens, a lot of community, they call them community pools. And like you guys did a joint venture with the city on the Dianza gym, but I don't know what happened to your MOU on that.
do have a joint use
Okay,
agreement.
you have a joint use agreement already, so you have the infrastructure already. But you could turn it over to a Boys and Girls Club, a nonprofit, a public agency, and the city could provide the liability and be the deep pockets for that. But I think your overhead's gonna go down lower if you turn it over to a nonprofit just for the summer program. That's just from a business point of view.
Yeah.
And I have several nonprofits willing to step up. and do this, and they already have trained lifeguards.
Well, when can you meet with Mr. Gonzalez?
Let's just give direction,
I can meet with them tonight, you know.
Give direction, move on.
So this is
It's Mother's Day, so no, so.
real quick. This is what we're gonna go ahead and do. Then we'll bring it back for our next scheduled board meeting. Mr. Gonzalez, if you could go ahead and meet with this gentleman here
Next
and
week.
get his
When is-
information, and then that we'll also meet up with Heffernan School Board also. Heffernan.
Yeah. May
What's your-
24th is the next board meeting.
What's your name, sir?
Bobby
Named the
Nicochea.
pool after my mother, Robert the Necochea.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Necochea.
Another 10,000?
No, I have another, yes, I can get, we have a lot of adults who wanna do lap swimming for exercise, like wellness in the evening, and they're willing to pitch in money. And, Carlos, you know Flex Fitness, they signed an MOU with you about the health and wellness program? You have a joint MOU with, Flex Fitness in Calexico.
Yes, I
And
know
they're
Flex
willing
very
to
well.
contribute money and their expertise too, so.
Okay.
A lot of people wanna help you guys out in the community.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Necochea.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Calderon Jr.
I think this matter needs immediate attention. I mean, into March 24th, the last day of school is when the pool
Next week.
opens. So, I mean,
Well, we have a special board meeting for
Yes.
next, so.
yes, that is true. And
So we'll be discussing it then.
Alright.
Yeah, let's bring it to the May 16th, and if still nothing, we'll go and schedule it for the 24th also as well. Moving on to K2, Wardfield PA speaker system options. Nothing?
Well,
we wanted to see.
So,
Do we need new speakers?
testing, got it.
Go
Sorry
ahead.
about that. Trustees, we're bringing this item. It's for a speaker system, and this is options, and we're looking for some direction from the board as well. So one of the recommendations is to have a new speaker system at Calexico High School football field, specifically Ward Field. So we have a state-of-the-art facility. We just put in a new bleacher system. The 4 light posts are state-of-the-art, they're new. There's new restrooms that have been put in place. There's a concession stand that has been put in place, a new track system that has been put in place. And so one of the things that we're looking at is upgrading the current sound system. Some of the benefits that we see in this particular sound system is that, one, it complements obviously the new facility. The other one is that the old system that we had in place had 4 speakers that were all mounted on old wooden poles. The new system that we would like to bring in is for the modern setup of the light posts that are in place. So with the new light posts that were put in place, there are 2 of the light posts that have mounts for speakers. And so when it comes to this new particular system, they have specialized speakers in order for them to be able to project long range. So that means that they'll be able to project not only the home side, but all the way to the visitor side as well. So there are no brackets in the in the new visitor side poles. The brackets for the speakers only exist in the home side speaker poles. So the other thing that we're looking at is access. So it's going to provide access not only for the football program, but it's also going to provide access to the baseball field as well, which is something that we currently do not have. What this particular sound system includes is it includes amplifiers, it includes the speakers and the mounts, it includes the microphones, it includes the wireless microphones, it includes mixers, and it includes cabinets as well. One of the other things that we're looking at is safety as well. When it comes to these particular speaker system, they're mounted up high, and they have to be mounted particularly in a certain way for safety, because some of these speakers, you know, they weigh up to 150 pounds, I believe, Jeremy. So we are recommending that a company install the speaker system, for the purpose of safety. The last thing that we would want is to install speakers and have an accident, have a speaker fall, and we could potentially be in a position where it would be a liability to the district. And so there is a price tag of $57,000 for this particular sound system. Again, we are bringing it to the board for discussion. It is a recommendation. We believe that this will complement in the new overall, football field and the baseball field by providing this access that, currently doesn't exist right now. But with all the modernization that came into place, especially with the new light posts that were put in place, it is built for a newer sound system. When it came to the construction cost, this was not something that was included as part of a construction cost. It was something to be added afterwards, and in this case, it is considered equipment. And so, for that reason, we're recommending to the board to allow us to move forward and install this system at Ward Field. The budget is coming from facilities, so it's money that is available, and it's specifically set aside for facilities use.
Now, why haven't we requested bids?
It's
You
under
only
this-
show one bidder here.
For,
Did we request bids?
for this particular one, and
It was under the threshold, I believe.
Ms. Randall left, but
That's okay.
when it comes to this particular item, Mr. Romero, when it comes to bids, it is under a threshold. Now, if the trustees would want us to go out to bid, that's something that we can certainly do. But in regards to equipment, as is stated in the board policy, it is under the threshold when it comes to purchasing equipment, which is what this is right here.
My question also is, what type of amplifier are we getting? What type of speakers are we getting? It's not showing any of that. My thing is, I don't want to get something that's a year from now is going to end up, malfunctioning on us, and we're going to have to purchase something else again. So, I mean, it's very vague as to far as what we're going to be getting. I know you have a year warranty, but what happens after that year?
Like an extended warranty type?
No. I just want to know what type of equipment we're getting. We're not going to be getting some type of equipment that's going to give up in 14 months.
Right.
Definitely, go ahead, Mike.
No, I was going to make a motion to approve this item pending, further discussion, if needed.
Well, if we're gonna approve it, we might as well do it now, because they gotta get on it for graduation. But my question is, and then you answered my question, I mean, we should have thought about this when we put all this money into our sports complex.
You're right, Mr.
Like anything else, I mean, it should have been, quoted and so forth, and we wouldn't be discussing this. I think the older speakers are too heavy in the event that these poles cannot hold
That's what they were
the
saying.
speakers. That could be a liability. And I mean, 57,000 is a lot of money, but if you come and think about it, it's a liability if they fall on one of our kids or any person or people of Calexico. So
There's a motion, so.
the motion,
Well, I will second
No, sir.
with discussion. Just to keep talking about this. 57,000 is not just change. It's a lot of money. So I would have liked to see a bid process, and I know you're gonna say that it wasn't the threshold. Well, yes, we understand that. Just because you're allowed to do it doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do. So
So it's a motion by Mr. Castillo.
One last comment.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me do that. Just a comment, just for us to recognize, we're already at May 10th, May 12th, 14th on Monday, and I think this takes a couple weeks probably to order.
21 days, correct? They said for the wiring?
That is correct.
So it's going to take a time. So I'm not expecting it, honestly, to even be ready by graduation. They were pushing it, I think. Maybe they can rush it, but to be honest,
Are the
we've
currents,
waited- We've waited this long, and realistically, it may be ready by then, it may not, but, we have to accept that too.
Yeah, and one of the things that we'll be working on, if it is approved, we will work on expediting it. I know I talked to Jeremy about this as well. I know Jimmy Sanders also we talked about it in regards to assisting with expediting it. And so our goal is to have it ready for, graduation time. But there are contingency plans in place in the event that the system isn't up.
Are the current speakers working?
No, Mr. Romero.
No, they're not?
They're not.
They're not?
Well, they're working, but they're not connected.
And until now,
Well, there's a motion, so we're gonna go ahead and go with the motion right now. Unless there's any more discussion, you guys have any more discussion? That way we can go ahead and move on. Motion by Mr. Castillo.
I do have one more question
All right.
before. So they're not connected, so what were you using for the football games?
When the football games were going on, we still had the old speakers on the wooden light post.
Okay, it was the
still.
old.
Exactly,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. All right.
Very good. Motion by Castillo, second by Calderon. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Mr. Romero?
No.
I'm gonna go ahead and say no, based on, it's just, I mean, I know the graduation's right around the corner. I've also stated that I wanted more information. There is some information on there, but it's not full as far as what we're gonna be receiving. The only reason why I'm saying no is because we do have a contingency plan for graduation, and I wanna make sure we get on that. So with that said,
Next.
we'll go ahead and move on to the next item. Al, action items. Consideration and action approval of the following items. L1, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and InterQuest Detection K-9s for detection services for 2017-18 school year.
Mr. President, question regarding the last item. So can we direct the superintendent to go through the process for a speaker system? Or did you vote yes or no?
I voted no, so I
Okay,
didn't pass it
so
too.
can we direct the superintendent to go through the right bidding process for a sound system?
If that's the way that the trustees want to move forward with this, I just stated I wanted more
Yeah, but it's not gonna
information.
be ready for
regards
the
to this.
graduation.
Well,
I
we still
mean,
have to do it, though.
yeah,
We still have to do it.
yeah, we need to go to the bidding process.
That will be
Request for
my
bids.
recommendation.
Well,
Is bidding required or just quotes?
Quotes. The bidding-
Simple.
the bidding threshold is
Oh,
$80,000
quotes, or quotes,
and some change.
or quotes.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Get 3 quotes.
Yeah, three quotes, three quotes.
we'll do additional two besides
And
this
then
one.
just bring it
Yeah,
back.
Yeah,
there we go.
we'll bring it back. There's a special board meeting on the next one. And it's gonna be real quick, so if we can get it by the end of this month, that way we can go ahead and see what's going on. No, well, if we don't
When
get
it's
the quotes
ready.
by then, when it's ready,
Bring when it's
hopefully by the
ready.
24th, yeah.
For L1,
L1.
I'll make a motion, if I can, to approve L1, L2, approve InterQuest for 16, 17, or 17, 18, 18, 19, with discussion.
Discussion on,
I'd like to discuss, what is it, L1, L2, and L,
I think it's just L1 and L2.
Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've done this before. We have brought law enforcement to do these type of actually searches and so forth. It's free out there. I mean, we have a lot of law enforcement families out there that are willing to come in. All we need is to be able to communicate. I mean, we're paying almost, it's $12,600, and it's going to cost us $700 every time this unit comes into one of our schools. And I don't think we need that much surveillance in our schools. Yes, we do, and I'm a big advocate for safety, but I mean, we're spending money here that we could get it for free. And then all it takes is to communicate to some of our law enforcement families out there and coordinate some of these visits. And that's all I have, because it's been done before.
I would not want to put a private family in this position of doing a K-9 search. I'd rather hire an independent contractor, like we're doing here.
And if I can comment as well, InterQuest is used in a number of districts here in Imperial County, elsewhere in California. I think one difference between the two, Mr. Calderon, just consideration, with InterQuest, they do know ed code, they do know, regulations, school-specific regulations, whereas maybe law enforcement may not. And there are some differences, but they do know what search parameters they can stick to. So there's a little bit of difference, but I've seen them in schools, and as a deterrent for our kids in this climate, I think it's good.
And if I may, there's also the consistency factor. When it comes to law enforcement, they're there to provide services for their own agency. And so if there's an emergency, or for example, I know that at one point, one of the law enforcement agencies that we reached out to had mentioned that their dog had passed away, and so, the consistency is not the same as when you're going through a private company. With a private company, you know that you're going to have that consistency all the time and that commitment, whereas with another agency, if you want to schedule in 20 per year, the scheduling may become an issue with that particular agency, and so they might do it for free, but again, then there may be the conflicts that exist with either the district schedule or the agency schedule. And so what that's going to allow is for us not to be able to provide the service that we really need to have in order to try to deter some of the potential drugs or weapons that may exist at the school sites.
Carlos, why are you bringing up 1718? This is 1718, and it's already over.
That was my next.
That's a good idea. That's a good question.
I won't make it though.
The reason we're bringing 1718 now is because we want to make sure that we send a message out. And the message is that, hey, when it comes to doing searches, it's something that we're looking into now, and we want to try to deter it. And by deterring it, what that means is making sure that we're out there doing the searches at our school sites.
And there is a need for it here in our district. Being involved with a lot of these cases that are going on, and I'm just speaking from seeing it firsthand. We need to move on this right now, that way we can go ahead and deter what's going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and second the motion made by Mr. Castillo. If there's still room for more discussion, we wanna discuss it, or we can move forward. So we have a motion by Mr. Castillo. I'll second that motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Okay, all those in favor is Romero, Calderon, Castillo, and myself. Abstain or against is Mr. Calderon. Moving on to L3, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and University of California for transcript evaluation services.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. Motion by Mr. Calderon, second by myself, Alvarado. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those in favor is Romero, Calderon, Calderon Jr., Castillo, myself. Moving on to L4, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and ICOE, Calexico Academy School for 2018-19 food services.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
So motion by Mr. Calderon, second by Romero. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those in favor is Romero, Calderon, Calderon Jr., Castillo, myself. I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to approve items L5 and L6. I believe also L7 is part of that.
I think L5 and 6.
L5 and 6, so L5 and 6.
And I have a question. This is just to retrieve money that we're already spending, correct?
Yes.
From the.
From ICOE.
We're
ICOE.
providing a service, and we're collecting.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
All right,
no cost to us.
all right.
So ICOE.
Because, I mean, our kids get free lunches. We're on provision course.
So
But
we
the-
just don't have like a kitchen or, in those locations, so we just prepare the food and we take it to those locations.
All right.
And they're reimbursed.
Okay.
So there's a motion to approve L5 agreement between Calexico Unified School District and ICOE Alted and SPED for 2018-19 food service, and L6 agreement between Calexico Unified School District and ICOE Alted and SPED 17-18 for food services.
Is it, includes 7 also, L7?
No, just L5 and L6.
All right.
You need a second?
I need a second.
Oh,
Second by Calderon Jr. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
All those in favor, Romero, Calderon, Calderon Jr., Castillo, myself. Moving on to L7, agreement renewal between Calexico Unified School District and Imperial County School Food Service Cooperative for fiscal year 18-19 for food and paper products.
Carlos, now you said a lot of districts in the county are doing this, right? Are joining this?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Would you say most of the district? or-
I would say most, and Mr. Venegas is here as well, and he can confirm that.
And it's at a cheaper cost for us, correct, also as well? So I'll go ahead and make a motion to
I'll
approve.
second.
Second by Calderon. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those in favor is Romero, Calderon, Calderon Jr., Castillo, and myself. Moving on to L8, memorandum of understanding between Calexico Unified School District and Imperial County Office of Education to provide 3 engineering professional development trainings to our summer school staff.
So moved.
I do have a question before I motion. This is for our summer schools, correct?
That is correct, yes.
So how many classes are we going to have throughout the district of
For
engineering?
For the engineering, it will be 11 engineering classes.
11 throughout the
Correct.
district this
Yes.
summer? Okay.
Particularly for this program, for the EL program. Yes.
All right, second.
So motion by Mr. Romero, second by Calderon Jr. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those in favor is Romero, Calderon, Calderon Jr., Castillo, myself. Moving on to L9, photography services procedures for 2018-19 and 2019-2020 school years.
So moved.
Second.
So motion by Romero, second by Castillo. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those in favor is Romero, Calderon, Calderon Jr., Castillo, myself. Moving on to L10, identify and select panel members for the superintendent search stakeholder interviews. As advised,
So we were asked to come up with a list and submit those
correct.
to you, right?
Yes.
So if we can, I think, what's the action? Just provide those to you?
Just provide those to me before,
Before we leave.
I have them, I have.
Do we have?
before we leave, and that way I could go ahead and provide them to the search firm by tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Are we going to make them public or just give you the list?
I'd prefer to give them the list, because some of these people, some of them probably need to be contacted still, and we're talking about maybe a 1 or 2 day commitment, which
Mhm.
they need to respond to.
My people already committed.
Mine committed already.
Yes.
I have mine that already committed also as well, so,
Mine's committed too.
okay.
I'll submit to you.
Okay.
So if you could please provide those to me before the end of the day, and then that way, before the meeting.
Is CSEA gonna be informed who those 2 classified?
Yeah, we could go ahead and
I would like
send,
to know.
we could send that information. Moving on,
Yeah, I would just suggest, if we haven't, or consider asking CACA to send at least 2 reps, and even ACT to send 2 reps, not just us pick them.
My understanding that you guys were gonna select, but I would like to know who the
Okay.
classified will be.
Okay, so we'll leave that to you.
all right.
Well, I should nominate you then, Ms.
Well,
Rodona.
I
Huh?
just wanna know, because
Why not? I nominate Ms. Rodona to speak.
Are you available?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I'll get your information before we leave. Thank you.
Ms. Bristow, do you want to join us too? All right.
So moving on to L11, awarding of bid to Pyramid Construction and Aggregates Incorporated for Measure V, Calexico High School's Wardfield parking lot.
Discussion.
So moved.
Can we have,
Discussion.
is there any discussion necessary, Mr. Gonzalez? Or is there?
I do have some discussion.
Ms. Randall? Any discussion?
Well, the questions I have is that we did have meetings with the stakeholders, correct? The students, the teachers, the principal, and everyone else as to what we're doing, because the public, or at least some of the public that I've talked to, and this is for, I mean, the bid, correct?
Yes,
And this
it's-
is, I mean, I'm okay with the bid, and just that I hope, and I mentioned it before, that we're contacting these people, because these are the people that use these facilities every day. And they know what we need and we don't need. So we're gonna start tearing up this parking lot. I see that we're doing landscape, we're doing, I mean, there's a number of things that we're doing to this parking lot. And I hope that we're meeting with these stakeholders to make sure that we're doing the right thing, or they have any concerns. Because, social media, someone posted that, our parking lot that we suggested for the front of the school was a disaster. So I'm trying to avoid these things. I mean, just meet with the people out there, meet with the teachers, the principal, and all the stakeholders so they know what we're doing.
And we have been meeting
Okay.
with them. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure if that's the exact one, but in addition to meeting with the stakeholders, the teachers and the administrators and students that we've met with over the course of several months, we have the renderings that we're going to also put out in the community. And Jimmy's going to, that might be it, and he can explain it a little bit better, but so that we can place it out in the community, at the city, at the chamber, in different locations, so that it's there, it's a talking point, and that everyone is aware that this is our end goal, but this is what we're doing to improve the.
And what I'm getting at is that they're gonna see a lot of trucks coming through.
Right.
I mean, equipment, heavy equipment is gonna come through. We gotta let the residents know that there's gonna be a lot of traffic and so forth. That's what I'm trying to avoid, that we don't get the calls and say, hey, they closed the street and no one told us that they're tearing up the parking lot,
So we can certainly, work with getting some mailers out or working with the city to, figure out the best approach to, make sure that that's communicated out. But we have been meeting with the stakeholder groups and sharing this information, about the design and these things.
Okay. And it's a very close bid,
Yeah.
by not much, so.
I think since the beginning of this project, we were very clear, and I'm not saying that it didn't happen, but we were very clear that we wanted everybody involved, not just certain people. We wanted everybody involved, parents from all the schools, because eventually their kids are gonna come to the high school. Most likely, parents that have elementary kids are the ones that are gonna get to see the new high school, not the high school kids right now, but the parents of the students in elementary and junior high. So hopefully it's being done.
We do plan to put, these things out around the district, and as a reminder, that plan that is there was voted on by the parents, and community members of the district as to the placement of those buildings and all of that. So we've done, we've really tried to incorporate, and we invite everyone to our Measure B, even our Citizens Oversight Committee meetings. We are certainly trying to do our very best by keeping our website updated, but providing this information. And now I think with, these lovely renderings or drawings that will be placed around the community in different places, this will also, encourage the conversation and also, keep parents and students informed and involved in the process.
Mr. Sanders, real quick question for you. That new parking lot structure, how many vehicles is that gonna be able to hold compared to what we have now?
I don't remember off the top of my head how many it has total, but there's 51 additional.
Compared to what we, oh, that's perfect.
How did you get 51 additionals?
It's a bigger parking.
Oh, compared to what we had right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, right now, it's a total
Yeah,
mess.
That's good.
A total mess.
Was there a
Also
motion?
disabled parking, correct?
I'll make a motion to,
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve this item.
All right, second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Castillo, second by Calderon Jr. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those in favor is Romero, Calderon Jr., Castillo, myself. Moving on to L12. Notice of completion for Calexico High School plumbing line replacement ERP.
So moved.
So motion by Romero, second by Calderon. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those in favor is Romero, Calderon Jr., Castillo, and myself. Moving on to L13, notice of substantial completion for the district-wide energy conservation program installation service.
I have a couple of.
What does it say?
Thanks. Go
The
ahead.
original amount is 5 million, and retention amount. I'm not fiscal services, so I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
So that was the total cost of the project, was over 5 million.
Well,
and,
I know that, but this is retention amount, 299,000. What is that?
So until the project is complete, then you retain a percentage until it's complete.
Oh, okay.
I do have one thing. When this all initiated, we went ahead and approved it and so forth. But as we started implementing this process or this program, we had a lot of feedback from our teachers, our students and so forth, where ACT came up, talked about it and so forth. As a result of that, I took the initiative to call Ms. Casio for alternatives, because I know that if we reduce the temperature, we lose money at the end. I never got to see these options that we had. And I don't know, as of today, I know because Mr. Taylor was here and he said things were okay, but we haven't gone to the peaks right now of the summer heat. So I don't know if these problems were taken care of or what options we were actually implemented there and how much money we're going to lose or gain from these options that were made. So, and that's just a comment that I had, because we heard at every board meeting where the teachers were unsatisfied with with this program. And to this date, I don't know if other board members have heard of options of what
So,
We've had-
if I may, it was something that, that was shared, and we discussed what the new parameters were going to be, which is the set points down to the 72, plus or minus 2, so 72, and then up to 76 would be those things. And I also shared what the cost implications would be, going, you know, how much it would cost to change those parameters. I can also, well, I'm very thankful to hear what ACT had to say about the changes. We've, as a district, we did need to negotiate with the teachers union, and we implemented a survey where we've been kind of going on a case by case. There is some savings. I believe it was about a $16,000 less is what it was going to be. But I did share that information, and we were given direction that a 72 degree would be the lowest we would go, because there was a proposal from ACT to go down to 68 degrees, and we wouldn't be able to save. Also, we turned the heaters off completely, so that the heater will not come on, and that's because that's a challenge. We don't need any heaters for the most part here. That there was a fiscal input, there was a change in the, and I don't remember it off the very top of my head, but we did agree that we could go down as low as 72 degrees and as high as 76, as well as the lunchtime, the soft, thank you, setback, that we wouldn't do the setback during lunchtime, and that we would do the standard 6:30 until 3:30, and on a case by case for those classes that were, that for teachers that stay beyond, that we would adjust them on a case by case basis that way.
I think I've only been absent for one meeting, and I'd just like to know when this information was shared with, in this forum.
Sure.
I'm asking.
It wasn't shared here in open session. It was, we had some, since it was shared and direction was given.
With board members?
Yes, with the board.
Wow, okay,
Because it
because
was part
I
of our
just don't
negotiation
recall.
session.
I know I'm old, but my memory is still, and I,
It was a part of the negotiations piece, since it was we were.
Right, and just to confirm, it was part of negotiations.
Yeah, it was a part of negotiations.
Yes.
okay.
Oh, okay. And Ashley was sharing that it's, of the savings it was going to, so let's just say, for instance, we were gonna save 100%, so to change those set points, we were gonna lose 5 to 7% of what the savings was going to be, which is about $15,000 to $20,000, so, yeah.
All right, and this is what I mean, for all that, I mean, that money, I know it's money, but we made our kids go through all this, and teachers, and we shouldn't have. So, okay, that's.
Well, well, again, I'm very happy to, and I agree, and I don't want anybody to be uncomfortable. I am glad that we're working really nicely with ACT and with the staff. And like I said, we haven't worked out all the kinks, but we're working on getting them all out. And there's a survey that's out, just in case you've heard about it, where each teacher has the option to tell us that, you know what, it's working, it's not working, and we've been getting some good feedback on the survey. So.
Will Climate Tech still be involved with us if there's issues?
Yes, they are. They're very much so involved, and we can call on them at any time.
Along the same lines, just knowing, looking, you know, talking about the high school. So new buildings in the next couple of years. Mr. Sanders left?
Yeah, he just
They
walked.
just-
Removal of trailers, I'm just wondering, just again, the addition of these sensors will be in place? Is that right, Mr. Sanders, is that correct? Yes? You're funding the summer swim program?
I wanted to come swim.
Just my question was, with the Climate Tech and their technology, with our new construction, buildings, removal of modulars, will this whole system be in place in the new facilities, integrated with our system?
That's the plan. The plan is to extend the existing system into any facility.
Within the costs of the construction? Okay.
Now, of course, you're gonna have, very efficient,
Buildings,
HVAC
right.
system. They're working with a lot of old units, and you're
Sure,
gonna have what's
sure,
called
sure.
a GSX system, and it's
it's a very efficient system, and, but it can be controlled by extending the existing system into the new system.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And our swim program starts June 15th.
So L13, any action?
I move we approve.
Motion by Mr. Romero. Do we have a second?
Second.
A second by Mr. Castillo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
No.
All those in favor is Romero, Castillo, and myself. Against is Calderon and Calderon Jr. Moving on to L14, resolutions for 180-day wait period exception for hiring retirees.
So we have a need for transportation for bus drivers. And so we've had a couple of vacancies when it comes to transportation. One has been filled, the other one we're still working on filling. When it comes to bus drivers, actually it's not easy to find them. It is difficult. One of the needs that we currently find is that, especially right now towards the end of the school year, there's a lot of activities going on. You know, there's activities in regards to trips that are planned, regards to even, you know, transporting students to the pool, transporting students to other, you know, venues. Again, all related to end of the year activities. And so one of the things that we are bringing to the board is a couple of resolutions for two of our formerly retired bus drivers. One is Mr. Juan Bustamante, and the other one is Mr. Jose Quintero. Now, technically, once they complete their 6 months after retirement under PERB, they can come and substitute for us. The thing is, they can't do that until after the 6 months is up. So what this resolution does is, because there is a need that we have now, with this particular resolution, we can bring in on board now, and they can start helping us out with transporting our kids. So bottom line is, regardless, they're going to be able to come on board as substitutes. All we're doing is we're trying to expedite it because we can do it with this resolution, so that that way they can help transport our students in the district.
And have you opened it up to, have we posted these openings?
Absolutely, yes.
On the Ivy
And actually,
Press?
we have only one substitute bus driver. And that one substitute bus driver is retired. And he's already approaching his, I think it's 900 hours, 60 hours that they can work. So he's basically not working for us anymore. So that's how difficult it is to find bus drivers. And the one substitute we have is no longer working with us.
So I'll make a motion to approve this resolution.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Castillo, second by Romero. All those in favor, please state aye.
It's a roll
Oh, it's a
call.
roll call, sorry, it's a roll call. Mr. Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Calderon?
Yes.
Mr. Calderon Jr.?
No.
Mr. Castillo?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Moving on to L15, resolution proclaiming May 20th through 26th, 2018 as Classified School Employees Week.
Move we approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Romero, second by Calderon. Mr. Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Calderon?
Yes.
Mr. Calderon Jr.?
Yes.
Mr. Castillo?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Moving on to L16, resolution ordering an election, requesting county elections to conduct the election, and requesting consolidation of the election and specification of the election order.
Move we approve.
Second.
Motion by Romero, second by Calderon Jr. Mr. Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Calderon?
Yes.
Mr. Calderon Jr.?
Yes.
Mr. Castillo?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Moving on to L17, resolutions regarding disposition of surplus asset, non-asset HVAC and maintenance equipment at M&O.
No, I'll do it right
Just a quick question. Jeremy, you stepped out already?
now. I'll do it right now. Yes.
Okay, that's all right. That's okay. We'll catch them later. So again, unusable, antiquated.
Are these the ones that we replaced when we put the new
Yeah.
systems?
They're actually on the grounds that have been, they're useless now, so.
Okay.
At least at Dole, I know that for a fact.
What do you mean?
They're just there in the sun, you can't use them anymore. There's desks, shelves, furniture.
So they're in the graveyard, Mr. Jeremy, talking about these
No.
HVACs.
17 is HVACs.
These are out in the yard, warehouse, collecting dust?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
So I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by myself, second by Calderon. Mr.
Yes.
Romero? Mr.
Yes.
Calderon? Mr. Calderon Jr.?
Yes.
Mr. Castillo?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Moving on to L18.
Do we need a
Resolution
motion to
requi-
extend the time
Oh.
first?
Go ahead.
I move that we extend the time
Second.
A motion by Mr. Romero, second by Calderon.
to 10 o'clock.
10.
All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Right, moving on to L18, resolution regarding disposition of surplus asset, non-asset furniture equipment at Dual Elementary.
Motion.
So moved.
Motion by Calderon Jr., second by Mr. Romero. Mr. Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Calderon?
Yes.
Calderon Jr.?
Yes.
Castillo?
Yes.
Myself, yes. L19, declaration of need for fully qualified educators for the 2018-19 school year.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. All's in favor, motion by Castillo, second by Alvarado. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye. All's in favor is Romero, Calderon, Calderon Jr., Castillo, myself. L20, quarterly report on Williams uniform complaint, April 30th, 2018.
I do have a comment on this. There was one complaint, and it was as a result that we didn't have a teacher for approximately 7 to 8 months. And my only question here is that we got the teacher after a parent complaint that we didn't have the teacher. And now our kids have an algebra teacher. My only concern here is that what measures have we implemented to keep this from happening again? Because we had these kids go through almost a whole year with substitutes. And this is not the first time this happens, especially at the high school level. So I'd like to see if we have measures to prevent this from happening again.
So, it's very interesting you asked that question. There was no vacancy in this particular position. The vacancy did not happen until January the 1st. So when you have a teacher of record and there is no vacancy, you have 30-day sub in there. The maximum that you can have is actually 60-day subs. And in this particular assignment, we maxed out 60-day subs as much as we could. So once we knew that the position was vacant, we actually already had a teacher ready to go. What ended up happening was when we asked the teacher to start, they backed out. But immediately we did find another teacher. Now, we do have certain positions, for example, that are not vacant, but teachers are on leave for medical reasons. And there's actually special authorizations that are called TIPSLs. And you can actually have the same substitute in that same class for the entire amount of the year. But that's a different situation. That's not a vacancy. It's a leave that's related to health reasons. And so if the circumstances in this case were that this particular teacher was out on a leave for medical reasons, we could have found a substitute teacher, put him on a TIPSL, and had them there in that same classroom for the remainder of as long as that teacher was out. So just to kind of give you some information on that.
Okay. So we do have measures to
Absolutely.
to keep this from happening.
Correct.
That we have a substitute showing up every 30 days and so forth.
We do.
All right.
So I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Calderon Jr. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those in favor is Romero, Calderon, Calderon Jr., Castillo, myself. Moving on to L21, accounts payable pre-list and addendum.
Move we approve.
Second.
Motion by Romero, second by Calderon Jr. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those in favor is Romero, Calderon, Calderon Jr., Castillo, myself. We're going to go reconvene back into our closed session. It's approximately 9:10.